Just one moment. And I'm gonna get started with the welcomes and why we created Wire. Everybody know we created Charlotte Wire to have community, to have resources, and to share our knowledge. I so miss these moments of us coming together and sharing our wins and us celebrating them together. I think the last time we met, it ended with Misha, and she was sharing her story, and she purchased a whole mobile home park. Like, I'm so excited. She, Anastasia, I hope I said it right, Anastasia, she is an Airbnb investor. She has 3 rental properties. Like, you ladies are kicking behind in this industry, and I'm super excited and grateful to be surrounded by you guys. Y'all know I'm Sonia. I am a business and life coach. I help ordinary people make extraordinary income by turning their passions into profits. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm a real estate investor. I have a virtual business management and in business management agency. I'm in trucking and logistics, taxes. So I have my hands in a lot of pots, but like you're planning for your retirement, I am planning for my retirement as well. And I have a passion for real estate. Like, I absolutely love real estate, but I also enjoy helping people figure out what their passions are. So I have a little, there's my girl. Hi, how are you? It's okay. I'm just going over. I have a little thing that I want to have you guys do. You often hear that in order to be successful, you have to align with abundance, and you have to have a high vibration. So, and most people be like, you have to have these things, but they don't tell you how to do it. So I want to take a moment and I want to walk you guys through an exercise that helps me raise my vibration anytime that I'm feeling down, and also help me make the money that I've made in the many industries that I'm in. So I want you guys to take a moment. I want you to take a deep breath in for me, everybody. Take a deep breath in. All right, you guys. I want you to put your hand over your heart. Thank you, ma'am. And I want you guys to say thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. How do you feel? Did you feel a little tingle? Did you feel your energy go up just a little bit? There you go. So that right there is one technique that you can do to raise your vibration. So if you're ever feeling anxious, down, just thank you. It's expressing gratitude, and it's verbally saying it and putting it out there for thank you. So you ladies, we have Miss Artina Marie here. I'm so excited for you to share your story. We're gonna switch spaces because I want everybody to get all this zhuzh, and I'm gonna let you get it in, girl. Let me get up. All right.
Hey, Keisha, Michelle, Miss Haynes, Amari, how are you guys doing? Good morning. First off, I am not a late person. I always try to be like 10 minutes ahead of time, but I got 5 kids now. I have 3, but I have 2 bonus, and everybody just needed me this morning. I'm like, mommy has to go. They're so used to me working virtually and doing everything from home. They're like, but it's Saturday. I'm like, I told you guys this yesterday. So, but I'm here. All right, so it's crazy because when I first even got into wholesaling or even heard of it, this was the first place that I came. Like, I came straight to this meeting and I met you guys, and I was just like so excited, and that excitement has not left. You know, I am still, I call it staying in phase 1, just learning all that I can, networking, surrounding myself with like-minded women, and then everything else, closing it out. Because I do believe it's so important to protect your energy, because it's like when you're trying to do something new level, new devil, right? Like, as soon, it's like the universe can sense that you're trying to propel forward and something comes up, right? So something came up, COVID came up, right? As soon as I hit the ground running, which, mind you, I'm a pretty confident person. I used to work law enforcement, like I've done a lot of things, but this wholesaling, when I tell you analysis paralysis, like I can tell you what to do, how to do it, when to do it, the best strategies, who to reach out to. But when it was time for me to get on that comm, like, hold on. Like, I got to the point where I'm like, okay, T, my why is very clear. Like, I want to give back to my family. I want to earn additional stream of income. Prior to me even becoming an entrepreneur, I was a federal law enforcement officer, but I just felt like, all right, Lord, there just has to be more to life than this. Like, I really feel like I'm just living to pay bills, you know, like, and still robbing Peter to pay Paul. Recently gone through a divorce, I just felt so unfulfilled. And so I just kept saying, Lord, give me a sign, right? And you know, you ask God to give you a sign, and He give it to you, be like, well, not that one. Like, give me one more, be a little bit more clear. Can you give me something else? So my first day back from maternity leave, they were like, you got to go undercover. I was like, I am nursing. My child is only 3 months. Like, I literally went through a divorce. It was kind of like a, let's try one more time. And here we are. So I left. Like, I was like, well, wait a minute, Lord. Like, I know I asked for a sign, but I still got Sally Mae. Like, I still got these bills, I still got these kids. And just boohoo crying in the car. Like, and I remember calling my dad, and he was just like, you know, God ain't never took nothing away from you and gave you something better. You're going to be fine. So I got into entrepreneurship by way of online fitness. So I did that for 5 years. I went on a retreat, and that's how I found out about wholesaling. But like I said, I could do everything else, but cold calling, like, I don't know, like calling somebody up. So I had, you know, I had my list, I had everything that you two told me to do. I knew how to do it. It was written down. I rehearsed it, reached out to you, like, how do I say it? Could not get past it. Well, COVID happened. And one way I was like, okay, well, I can kind of use this as my excuse because I ain't never like gave up on anything. But I was like, okay, maybe I need to take a step back. I still kind of had my toe in, but not all the way in. Analysis paralysis, like a mug, y'all. It was bad. So after COVID kind of, I ain't gonna say died down because I feel like it came, you know, it's right back where we started. But once things started to become a little bit normal or a new normal, right? I heard of mobile home investing. I was like, wait, like a trailer? Like a trailer? Now here's the thing. A lot of people have never heard of mobile homes or seen one, but where I grew up, everybody lived in a mobile home on 2 and 3 acres of land, making it look like a house with a driveway and a garage. So that was nothing for me. I grew up around trailer parks. I grew up in a house, but all my cousins grew up in a trailer. So I'm like, wholesaling a trailer? Because when you think of mobile homes, you think of, oh, the value depreciates, like, and it's a trailer. But I was like, well, it got to be something to it. And so I don't know if you guys have heard of mobile home elite investors. So I saw their stuff on Instagram. I'm like going through all the videos. You know how when you get stuck on YouTube and you can't go to sleep until you get all the knowledge? So I'm going through mobile home elite investing. And of course, they told me the price. I remember when I first met Sonya, she was like, you know, coaching is kind of like your cheat code. Like, you got to invest in coaching, and you have the income, go ahead. And so with my fitness business, I'm a 6-figure earner in that business. And so, but I'm still tight. Like, you know, like, I feel like the best way to keep money is not to spend it. Like, I'll spend it on food, and my kids, but I'm real tight. But I've learned that in my first business, coaching is the cheat code. Like, you know, you can get there so much faster and miss all those other little roadblocks and stumbles. So I reached out to mobile home elite investors, found out what they had. There was another YouTube video, trailer park trash something. It ain't trash, Jesus. What is it? One of those. Okay. So I reached out to them. The price was significantly different, like thousands of dollars different. So I was like, well, let me go at a cheaper option first. I watched like several YouTube videos so I could find a coupon, because, you know, at the end they give you a look. So I plugged that in. It was like, the coupon should have expired, but it worked, because I said, all right, Lord, if this go through, this is what I need to be doing. Make it very clear. And it went through. Like, it was a video from maybe October, and this was me in January. So I bought their course. I learned about seller financing. So basically the same approach with a single family home, except there's no closing attorney. Depending on your state, there's no notary. And you can literally buy a home and wholesale it. Well, find a home, get it on the contract, wholesale it within the same day, within the same hour, without a closing attorney. In South Carolina, you don't need a notary. In North Carolina, you do. But the process is simple. You find a home, you make an offer, you get them on the contract, you decide how much you want to attach to it. There's no comps, nothing like that. Like you literally just, okay, this home, you want to get it as low as possible for 5,000. You go on Facebook Marketplace, you see that it's selling for 20. You put it up for 23 so you can have room. And then you basically meet up with the buyer gives you the money. You give the rest of the money that's under contract to the seller. You keep the other half. You keep the middle, the portion. And then you escort the buyer to the DMV to make sure they transfer the title over. So my first deal was, I worked within a sense of urgency. So I said, okay, my birthday is February 26th. I need to wholesale a home. I need to flip a home. I need to sell or finance a home. And I made this goal February 1st, right? So a guy named Calvin Artina, he has a group on Facebook called Mobile Home Investing Full Time. It's a free group, but you can literally go into the search bar and everything is there, like everything, right? And that's for any group. If you go into their search bar, literally someone has probably asked the question, mobile home investing full time. And his name is Calvin Artina. And he specializes in wholesaling. Because just like single family, there's several different strategies, right? So I had those things that I wanted to do before my birthday. So I drive for dollars in the parks, in the mobile home parks. I get on Google Maps, I type in mobile home parks near me, I write it down, I put it in MapQuest so I don't waste gas because I drive a Denali, and I mark it, and so that I take the shorter route, and then I just drive through and look for sale signs. I get out and talk to park managers. Like, do you have a home, any homes available for purchase? Do you have any fixer-uppers for sale? Because fixing up a mobile home is not like a single family. You don't get a contract, you get a handyman. And the price is sliced in half. You can literally do it yourself. So I drove around, came across this park. Mind you, couldn't run away from cold calling. Still had to call parks, introduce myself, but I kept thinking like, these are people who just applied for a job. Just like anybody else, they got hired. They either gonna give me a yes or a no, but I'm never gonna know the answer unless I call and ask, right? And if God gave me the vision, he'll give me the home. So I'm like, I can't do this if I don't do this part. It's like, I can't skip it. So I would call around and I would just say, hey, and this is after I drove around parks and I labeled them A through D. So I was like, oh, this is an A park, meaning that it's well taken care of. They have the amenities of an apartment. It's just mobile homes. There are a lot of them in Concord, double wide, triple wide homes with garages, like with the swimming pool, with the fitness center, and it's super nice. So those are like my A parks. And then you have a park that ain't even paid. Like those are the parks I grew up around, like bad. Like it's like the tornado warning comes, it's like, y'all got to get up out of there bad. So you have the A through D parks, right? And so just like single family, you drive around, you talk to people. Like if there's a handyman out, I roll my window down like, hey, do you work it? Do you live in the park? Is this your home? Can I get your card, right? Tenants that are walking around, hey, tell me a little bit about the park manager. Just forming those relationships because they'll tell you more about the park than you can learn from the park manager. So driving around, putting out bandit signs. Y'all, I hate putting out bandit signs because I'll be like, okay, let me make sure no cars ain't coming. And then as soon as I cross the street, it's like the light turned green and all the cars are coming. And my first month, it rained and it was cold. And I was just putting out bandit signs. I remember crying like, why am I doing this? Like, like putting them out, waking up 5 o'clock in the morning. Bandit signs are not legal, but I learned from you that, okay, and like put the bandit signs out. And so I would do it every Thursday night or Friday because I knew code violations closed. I would go right after they cut the grass. So I know they ain't gonna be pulling them up. So I went and put out bandit signs. I still get called from bandit signs, even to this day. I would find a mobile home park. I would find their nearest exit. So like if the park is here, but I know in order to get to Walmart or this place, I got to get to this stop sign. That's where I put my bandit signs out. I also put out virtual bandit signs by way of buy and sell groups on Facebook. So it's just a sign I made using Canva. or any type of app, and it just says, we buy mobile homes. I'm the everything. Like, there's nobody else but me, right? But I put we buy mobile homes. For my number, I use Bumber. I have a South Carolina number and a North Carolina number. And then I just have my Facebook like page, and it goes to my Google Forms. So basically on my virtual bandit signs, I'll say, if you want to join my buyers list, select here. And there's a Google form. I'm able to capture everybody's email, get their information, what their criteria is. Do you have a home for sale? They click the link. They tell me when they plan on selling or what information they have. So that's how I get my sellers leads when I'm not putting out bandit signs. I use Jotform for the Google links, and I just post it by way of my like page on Facebook. And I made most of my ads are like free because they're on my page, but a lot of times I pay like $25 a week. I can set the location, I can set who it goes out to, and then when they click on it, it automatically says, are you an investor? Do you want to buy a home, or do you have a home for sale? And then they fill out the link. Jotform sends me a text, somebody's filled out your form, and if it's a seller, then I call them. Yeah. So I try to like have a lot of my business on automation because I have kids, like, and they homeschool. But thank God they go back to school this year. I don't know for how long. So my first deal, I found a home, and here's the thing. I had already said I'm not spending more than $5,000 on the home. That was like people say, I can't find them where you're not looking or you're not being patient. And just because they think they're gonna get 10 for it, I already know here's 5. Because if you come in with cash, they're like, okay. So my first home I bought for 5, and literally no rehab. All I need to do is get it to smell nice. My parents came in, we swept, we mopped, we prayed over the home. And then I put it on I literally purchased it on a Monday. And then I kind of waited because I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. And then 2 weeks later, I put it on the market for $18,000. And I sold it for 21 on payments. So with the down payment of 8,000, so I could get my money back. So I paid 5,000 to the park. The down payment from the buyer was 8. Originally, I was going to accept 15,000 in cash, but if you didn't have it, then you would have to put 8, and then we would seller finance the rest. So I put them on a 2-year lease agreement at 12% interest, and so now I get paid $548. They pay $400 to lot rent and $548 to me. Don't count people's pockets. Like, just because they live in a mobile home park, they still have the money. Yeah, yeah. So it's called subleasing. Yeah, so I still have the title to the home. They don't receive the title until they've made all payments. If for some reason I have to evict them, the process can start over with somebody else. Yeah, basically, yeah, it's rent to own. So I get paid $548 a month for that for the next 2 years. They pay $400, and after that they own it. And then after the year, they can decide to move it, but they don't know that. Like, the lease agreement that I have with the park is for a year, right? Try not to get into a lease agreement. It'll be great if you can just sell finances, but a lot of park managers have been burnt. So they want to know, hey, can I depend on you? Like, if something happens, am I still gonna get paid the lot rent? So that was my first deal. My second deal was by way of bandit sign. A guy called and said, I need to get my car out of the shop. That was his pain point. That's why I always try to find out, what is the seller's pain point? So no matter what number they think they're going to get, we're going to go back to that pain point so I can see, how can I help you? Like, how can I be of service to you? So he wanted $1,000. He wanted to give me an older home for free that was back in the woods, and then a very nice home for $1,000. And it was nice. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I purchased it the day before my birthday, so February 25th. It was a weekend, and then that Monday I sold it for $12,000. Like, literally put it on Facebook Marketplace for 14. Had people blowing me up. Like, they have to move the home. To move the home is like $4,000 to $6,000, but it's like, it's like buying a car and you get to live in it. And you know what I'm saying? Like, some people like don't want a single family home. They don't want to live in an apartment, and the home was nice. So we went in, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, I did the walkthrough, everything, and he just wanted to get relief. Like he just needed to pay what he needed to pay. And that was his business. And I was like, cool, boom. So I gave him the 1,000. We signed off on the title. The next day I went to the DMV and transferred it into my name. Had I known I was going to sell it that fast, I probably would have just gave the title to the next person, but that's called skipping title and you don't supposed to do that, right? But because it was so quick, that just would have been in my best interest because you can only have up to 2 or 3 mobile homes in your name a year until you have to get your dealer's license. So if you go on YouTube to Mobile Home Elite Investors, they have a big series for each state and they'll tell you how many homes per year you can put in your name. But here's the thing, I put a home in my son's name, in my daddy's name. Like we could keep going because once you get a dealer's license, then you got to pay taxes. And nobody got time for that, right? So that was my second deal. My third deal was officially a wholesaler. So it was in an A part, a double wide, and she wanted $65,000 for this home. I said, what? What happened? You want how much? So 65. So I tried to talk her down. Like I asked her, like in single family, is there anybody else, any decision makers, you know, that I need to speak to? No, it's good. Everything that could have went wrong, y'all. They had a realtor. The realtor reached out to me. The realtor was like, I don't want to deal with it. I don't know nothing about mobile homes. Just get them this money so that we can get them into their single family home. And then the buyer that we found also had a realtor. And he was all the way from California. And they spoke Spanish. So it was a lot, y'all. So I was like, all right, Lord, you're trying to challenge me. It's cool. So I talked them down to 49.5. Yeah, I talked them down, and my numbers could be wrong. I talked them down to 49.5, right? So I'm like, how am I going to find a buyer for a double wide for 49? Y'all, the next day, this buyer from California comes in and offers, no, I had him under contract for 40. I'm sorry. And I put it on the market for 49. Buyer flies in from California 2 days later with 49 in cash, like want to purchase this home. I'm like, slow down, Playboy. Like, this is too much money to take in cash. We're gonna need to do a cashier's check or something. Like, it needs to, and the realtors, you know, I don't know how many realtors are here, but y'all think totally different. Like everything need to be by the books, on paper. Like it's so hard to make that switch. So his realtors were like, oh no, like it needs to be done this way. We got to have it a notary. And I'm trying to like, I'm new and I'm also trying to educate the realtors because I'm like, take your realtor hat off. This is not real estate. This is personal property. The only time a mobile home is real estate if it's been detitled. So if it's on land, they would fix it to the land. They went to the DMV, filled out the necessary paperwork, and it's been detitled. I have wholesaled a home like that. And when you do it like that, you have to do it just like a single family. You got to run comps, everything, which I'm really trying to move into wholesaling mobile homes on land because it's so much more money and it's so quick, like super quick. So, yeah. Because literally you can have a single family on land, a single wide on land that is worth just the price of the land and the price of the mobile home. So the land could only be like worth 10 and the mobile home they don't really count that. But if you pull a double wide on there and you would fix it and get it detitled, now it can comp with the rest of the properties in the area. Yeah. So I use PropStream, or you can go to Zillow or Realtor and just look at the homes that are sold near, and I just divide it by 3 and then just like, okay, that's the number. It's very loose with the mobile homes, but you can, sometimes there's a site through Bank of America too, where you can put in any address and it'll give you the comp. I don't know the site, but I wish I did, but someone gave that info to me. And PropStream is basically a paid service. And so find somebody with PropStream, like, hey, put this address in for me, tell me to come. Because I have called Sonya late at night. Sonya goes to bed at like 7 o'clock, y'all, and wake up at 4 in the morning. And I have called her and she's called me back at 4:30 in the morning to help me because I couldn't figure out comps. So thank you. So with that home, the buyer comes and we're ready to go. I use Chase Bank. So that's my, my business bank. So as soon as I left this meeting, like I had started my LLC, so I was ready to go. You don't need all that with mobile home investing at all, but I just had it already. So to be all fancy, instead of like calling my sister, because she's a notary, I went to Chase Bank and formed a good relationship with the bank. It's all about relationships. So they know like, hey, we don't want the seller and buyer to come together, because here I am, got this lady on the contract for 40. She really wanted 50. And I was like, no. And then I'm selling it for 50. Like, how that look, right? I'm very transparent, because they say, well, what if you get more than that? Well, that's going to pay for all the other stuff. They never say, well, what's the other stuff? I'm like, but it's going to pay for all the other stuff that you don't have to worry about. I said, unless you want to handle the title of the transfer, go to the DMV, like, you know, all this stuff. They're like, oh no, I don't want to handle it. I'm like, okay. So, and they just want it. So just go back to their pain point. But I knew she was going to have a problem with this. So my notary, she's like, I got it, it's covered. He comes in with his check. Then all of a sudden, her cousin shows up. Never met him. And he's like, this is a scam, da, 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 da. I'm like, dude. He's like, I don't think you should do this. This buyer has flew in now from New York. He sold his home in California. He lived in a tiny home. He's living in New York with his parents, flew down that morning, has the check in hand, and he talks her out of it. So now the realtor's upset with this guy. I'm upset. The buyer's upset. And then I told my buyer, I said, do you trust me? Say yes. I said, well, I'm going to find your home. I told him, best luck to you. I gave him his money back. I'm like, okay, now I got to find him a home. Relationships. I went back to the park. Hey, this is what happened. I need help finding this person a home. Like, just help me. Found him a home. What are you asking me? Oh yeah, he was a scammer. The cousin was a scammer himself. Yeah. The cousin was on some other stuff, and later on, the lady reached back out to me, apologized, and wanted me to help her again. No, no. Correct. And then once he found out that the buyer was Hispanic, then he was like, he said to my face, why didn't you tell me he was Hispanic? Why did it matter? He's like, well, can we just talk? No, because if it start bad, it's gonna end bad, right? So I'm sorry. And that's really what it was. He saw me, he like, oh, we're trying to run, you know, game on his aunt, which was crazy because she spoke English with me. I know she liked me because she bought me a birthday gift, invited me into her home to feed me. And then all of a sudden the cousin comes and she can't speak English. And now he's translating and she won't even look at me in the eye. So I didn't know what their history was or what the issue, but it was something deeper that I had no control over. So I just told her, best wishes to you. I'm sorry it didn't work out, but I can no longer do business, right? So I told the buyer, I'm gonna find you a home. I reached out to the park manager, found this guy a home. He paid me $5,000 because, you know, he was like, you've been really working for me. Because even though we found it, there were so many loops, like so many things that happened. And I hadn't got paid, you know, and I just still working. So he was like, do you have like a fee? I don't have a broker's license or anything like that. So I'm like, whatever you feel like you want to give me, but 2,500 would be good. And he gave me $5,000. And then the park manager gave me $1,000 referral. So now anytime someone comes to me wanting a double wide in an A part, I can just call him up and say, do you have something? And then $1,000 is in my bank account as soon as it closes. So I have that line of connection. And then my next deal was it was terrible. It was a wholesale deal and they wanted 55. We went from 55 to talking them down all the way to 20. The home was a huge double wide, like 4 bedrooms, 2 living rooms, a master suite. It was long, it was wide, it was huge. So people had interest in the home, but they didn't have the land to pull it on. And it cost like $12,000 to pull it. So, and it had a leak in the roof. So many things, right? So with this home, I formed such a great relationship with the seller that they were just like, when you get it sold, just let us know. Like they, once they move, they're like, whatever, just whatever you need us to do. So I finally found a buyer for 18. Like nobody. Yeah, I always go in to buy, right? Because if I can talk them down to my number, I'll purchase it. Most of the time that doesn't happen. So I'll go in, I look, I let them tell me everything that's wrong with it. And then I say, okay, so, being that this is wrong and this is wrong, and I know you're trying to go move with your daughter, going back to their pain point, the best that I can do is this. And I mean, I'm disrespectful with the number. Like, it's so bad that I feel bad. And I be feeling bad, hoping that they don't accept it. Honestly, I hope that they don't accept it so I can wholesale it and get them more money, and I get even more money. Because I'm like, see, this house worth more than that. But if they do accept it, it's like, well, right? So most time they're like, no, like, that's crazy. I said, okay, well, here's the thing. I do have a list of buyers in my buyer database who are looking for homes just like yours. Because of things that's happening, it could take 30 to 60 days. I'll market it on Facebook. The price you see on Facebook is going to be different from what you get in the contract with, because I have to, that's a strategy I use, and I have to get paid. Don't worry about paying me. That will come out the buyer's pocket. And they say, okay. So, and all they're worried about is getting them that number, right? So there's no closing attorney to be like, oh, you made this amount, like nothing like that. So at the very end, the guy just said, just give me 12. He's like, just give me 12. That's really all I need is 12. I'm like, how you go from 150 to all you need is 12? Well, he had moved in his apartment, got his little car, he was good. So I sold it for, the taxes were $500 on it. So I sold it for $18,500. $5 went to the taxes. And then and then I ended up giving them 12. No closing attorney. The reason I escort the buyer to the DMV is because after 30 days, the buyer and the seller will get penalized. Because if it says, hey, I signed this off on August 1st, and then you don't go in there until October, we don't know what has happened with the title since then. And then you got to make sure the title is clean, because there could be a lien on it from something that they didn't pay. The best way to do that is call the DMV. So everything is through the DMV. In the tax assessor's office, everything is through the DMV. No. Yep, I just use my JOT form that's free. JOT form, JOTFRM form, and it's free. Yeah. So I started out using Google Form, but it wouldn't allow it to text it to me to say someone completed it. But with JOT form, it texts me. Yeah. I said I was using Google Forms, but there was no system automation to text me to say someone has filled out your form. So I moved over to JOT form. Yeah. Yeah. And if I'll give you guys my card and you can go through it and make your own. Like literally it just has questions like name, number, how soon, are you paying cash, financing? And so I consider myself a matchmaker. So I have my list over here, my list over here. So if someone says, I'm looking for this, and then I have a seller that says I have this, then I'm just gonna match the two. And I can be of value to another investor who wants to partner up and say, hey, I have this home. Do you have a buyer? Like, hey, I have a buyer. Do you have a home? And I just say, well, let me look. Yeah, and Craigslist. It's free. So the Facebook ad is, yeah. So for Facebook ad, I'm still trying to figure it all out, but I'll just have, hey, we buy mobile homes, fill out this form for a cash offer. They fill out the form. And the reason why I pay $25 is so it can get boosted out to a particular audience. And I try to do that like Thursday through Sunday. Because my bandit signs, I don't know, I pay $100 for 100. I can't remember. I try to find a coupon for that too. But if you have great handwriting, you can literally go to Walmart, get one of those whiteboards, cut it in half, and do your thing. But my handwriting is crap. So a little bit of both. So two of my homes that I rent to own are in Concord. And then a few of them I've wholesaled are either in Gastonia, Hickory. So it literally like just all over, because right in Charlotte, those mobile homes, a lot of those parks, the park owners own them. So they don't want you to sublease in their park, whatever. But on the outskirts, it's a little bit better. And then Columbia is great, Florence, Sumter, all those places is amazing. All those places are amazing. So I'm from Aiken, South Carolina, near Augusta. So in that little, that pathway, and I have a single family home that I rent out in Columbia, South Carolina. So whenever I go to check on that, or whenever I go to my parents' house, I'm putting out bandit signs. I try to get, in those groups, you can find boots on the ground. Like you can say, hey, can someone go and take pictures for me? I'll pay you whatever to put on a lockbox, whatever. Or does anybody want a JV this deal? So, my last deal, I JV'd a home. So, joint venture. So basically the girl called me and she said, I found a mobile home. The guy wants 12 for it. I want to wholesale it. I said, well, if you can talk him down to 7, do you have 3,500? We can go half and then we can sell it and split the profit. So she came up with a 3,500. We talked him down to 7, and then we ended up selling it for 18,500, like 2 weeks later. We're working on it. So she likes to buy mobile homes for cheap, like 2,000. She put 1,000 in, like she likes to fix them up and then she rents them out. I don't like to fix and flip. Like I don't have time for that. And my dad could do it. My dad is a handyman. He does stuff in mobile home parks, but I don't want to put that on him. So I just, I try not to bite off more than I can chew. Eventually, I just found out relationships. I just found out my gardener is actually a handyman for 2 mobile home parks. I'm like, Manuel, like, you didn't tell me this. So with him and I have been talking, and I'm like, if you can find one, you can sometimes find them for free. And he has one now that I'm going to go look at where they want like 12. I'm talking down to 6. I do that by bringing 6. Like, I have 6. Do you want this? My partner, the girl from Facebook, what she would do is she would buy it, put a lot of money into fixing it super nice. And then she would put somebody on a 2 or 3 year lease, but they're paying like $1,000. Lot rent is only $200. So she's pocketing the rest. But it's just so much that comes with that, because now you got to do code stuff, things with the county. And the Mobile Home Elite Investors course walks you through it all. I just hadn't had time to do that. Yes, so if a mobile home doesn't have a title, just make sure you get a bill of sale. That's it. Just make sure and if it's older, the better. Like if it's newer and they don't have a title, it's like, come on, where your title at? But if it's older, more than likely they don't have a title anyway. So no, you just print it out on Google. You can do Rocket Lawyer, sites like that, and just print it out. You just use the bill of sale. You can go to Rocket Lawyer. Or literally you can just type in North Carolina bill of sale and want to print out. Or you can just email me and I'll just send you my little Google Drive. Yeah, I'll send you mine. It's very simple. Like oh gosh, like compared to the one I have that science sitting, like it's so simple. And then and then when I joined Calvin Ahina's wholesaling group, he has it in the group. It's a pay academy. And so he has it, but I literally found it somewhere else for free. So I have that. I have like a little checklist that I make sure I have the VIN number, the title. They have that. It's called the, oh my gosh, it's in the closet of the mobile home. It's like a piece of paper and it's like the life of the home. So if you don't have a title and you look in that closet, everything is there on that, like it's attached to the wall. And it'll tell you what wind zone it's in, because somebody will say, well, what wind zone? If you're in Charleston, the wind zone needs to be a bit different versus it's here. But it'll give you everything that you need.
So if you're buying a bill of sale, let's say they don't have a title, would you follow up with DMV before you sign that bill of sale if there is a title?
Yeah, so if someone says they don't have a title, I do double check with DMV to say I have this home, this is the VIN number, do you have a title on it? And sometimes when it's older, even the DMV is like, no. Or the DMV will say, well, there was a title, but we don't, I mean, nothing's happened on this home. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if the family member was paying taxes on it or something like that, the DMV would have record, and so would the tax assessor's office. But if it's like super old, then a lot of times there's nothing. Yeah. It depends on the mover, and a lot of movers just want their money. And relationships, if you can find a good mover, he ain't gonna question you, like he'll even go get the permit for you. And then a lot of times if it's if you're just moving it from like down the street, as long as it's in the same county, you don't need a permit. But if you move it into another county, you need a permit for tax purposes. How do I screen tenants? I run a background check. Just like it used to be called apartment.com, but now it's like Cozy or something like that. So I just run the check, and it's kind of like a pre-qualification. And most of the time I have that information because when they fill out my form, it asks them enough for me to go in and check. And then the park also runs the background check, which is the official background check. So I've had people lie, tell me all these stories, and I hate sending them through the park manager. I try to make it an easy process because with the park manager, I want to make their job easier, not be a headache. But when they lied to me, and then the park manager's like, did you know they had, this felony? I'm like, because people need clean, safe, affordable homes. Like people are contacting me every day, 20 to 30 people. Do you have a mobile home? Do you have a trailer? Like I have 10,000. Do you have something? And so it's just like a single family home. It's way more buyers than sellers. But I'm not to say that single family home is oversaturated, but there's literally like no competition. And because relationships are so important, even the many people that are doing it work together so well. You know what I'm saying? Because you just never know when you're going to need them for the simplest thing, like your mover, your handyman, like how can you help me? So you'll have a seller that needs it moved off their land. So a lot of my deals come from dealers. So Freedom Homes, like dealers, mobile home dealers. So the mobile home dealers, I call them and say, hey, what do you guys do with the old homes? Like if you need a home moved, to move your new home, what do you do with it? And they're like, well, a lot of times we just tear them down. I said, well, can you just call me when that happens? And a lot of times a dealer will call me and say, hey, we're trying to move in this new mobile home. Can you come out and look at this old one? And I said, well, how much were you going to give? And they're like, maybe 2,000. So I know, boom, I just need to go in and offer 4. Yeah. And most of the time with that, you can find a lot in a mobile home park. So build relationships with the park manager. And when you're new, you literally just go in and say, I have this home. You look at your list, it fits your criteria. if it's a B mobile home park, like you're not gonna put a 80s mobile home in a really nice mobile home park. So I'm like, I remember that one. That park has homes like this. They have a lot. Can I move my home there? And most of the time I already have my buyers because I have a list of families looking for a home. So I can move it to the lot and pair the two. But most of the time they have to be moved when they're moving, or they were renting the land and now the people that own the land want to put something else on it, or they want to bring in a newer mobile home or build a single family home. I try to stay away from homes that need to be moved. If they need to be moved, I'm like, I don't really go after homes that need to be moved unless they come to me. I rather, because it takes away from my money too. Because if it doesn't have to be moved, I can like confidently say, I'm selling this home for 15. They're like, what about moving? It don't have to be moved. Great. Because a lot of people don't have land to move it to anyway. $60,000? I was like, what type of mobile home is it? Is that kind of like, nope, I haven't done it like that. That's creative financing. I'm like, is this a sub 2? Yeah, that's creative financing. Yeah. Yeah. No, JV is just when, well, yeah. But she's JVing with the actual seller, not like another investor. Yeah. And like your strategy, like some people say, well, what's your strategy? It just depends on the deal. Because I may go in thinking I'm going to wholesale it, but I'm like, shoot, I can buy this and rent it out, or I can buy this and rent to own. I don't like to rent them out because I don't want to be a landlord. So when I do rent to own, they know if something goes wrong, you are responsible. Like, so through Mobile Home Elite Investors, they have a site, and you go in and you put everything, down payment, the year of the home, and then it calculates it for you. 12 to 14% is just what they do in the mobile home world. You have some investors that do 0, but if I have it listed for 15 and you don't have it, if you go somewhere else and someone extends it, it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be a percent. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Y'all have any questions? We didn't forget about y'all. That's why I keep looking at the screen. Did y'all have any questions?
Now we good. You answering
Okay.
everything on this phone. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I can send that to you. Yeah. But it really has been a blessing. I have not I've not counted out single family homes. My goal is to just keep building up my capital so I can be a buyer. So like I said, okay, by December, by December this year, I want to be the one where I go in and say, yes, I'm a buyer. That's what I want. Because my goal hasn't changed. I want a single family home per child. And I want to have a group home. One of those homes I want to have a group home. And it's just so many ways to make money out here. Like, it's so many things to do. Like, get with the right people. Those YouTube videos, YouTube University is real, but paid mentorship is realer. So, is that a word? So my end game. So it depends on where it's at. So I'm from the Aiken Augusta area where the Masters is located. So one of my single family homes, I can literally just rent it out during the Masters, and that'll cover the whole year if I had a mortgage on it, right? Or I could do Airbnb, like corporate housing for nurses. So the Medical College of Georgia is there, and they have a lot of traveling nurses looking to just rent out a room. So now mobile home investors are doing that with mobile homes. So the YMCA has a program where people who receive Social Security, you know, different things they have going on are looking just for a room. And so you can get a 3-bedroom mobile home, rent out the room for like $500 to $800 for each room, and the YMCA pays you. They share the bathroom common area in the kitchen. Yeah, so you can do that. Yeah, yeah. 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 I've been dibbling, dabbling, and researching that. Like I said, I'm still so new to this. And for me, when I see something shiny, I can easily be like, oh, what's that? So it's like I have these things, like I have my vision board and the things I want to do. But to answer your question, yes. Because now, what I've been doing this last 2 months is family has been coming to me and say, hey, I have 3,000. Can you help me flip it and turn it over? So I'll say, yeah, but it'll be a 60-40 split. Or it'll be a 70-30 unless you take the course and you're actually able to work with me. If not, you're just going to be putting in your money. I'm going to be doing all the lead work and you're expecting a 50-50 split because they see me made a post. But I do have one. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, right now I'm like doing it real small. Like I had my cousin, she gave me 5, and then I was able to make her 8. It was less than 30 days. Yeah, like the turnover, like it takes I've had some investors say, okay, it takes maybe 60 or 90. I just haven't experienced that. Like it takes about 30 days, and the homes that I've purchased and sold, it did it in a week. Yeah. So she put her money in. So just for an example, let's just say the home is 10,000. And she doesn't have 10,000, but she has 8. So I put in 2. And then if I turn it around and sell it for 20, if I did most of the work, then it'll be a 70-30 split of whatever, of the wholesale deal. So I've only done it with wholesale, and I haven't done it with a seller financing or a buy and just flip. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. Yeah, I just tell them what the numbers could look like, but I don't like say 70 or 60. I just kind of give them an idea. Okay. Better than average return investment. Okay. Okay. Y'all hear that? Better than average return. Okay. better than average return investment. I like that. So I haven't gotten that far. These are like my family, like my sister and my first cousin, who's like my sister. So, but I've had so many others to reach out right now on my Facebook, and I just kind of like, you know, right now, you know, yeah, like, because they just see it as fast, quick money, but they don't see like all the work. And the reason why I don't put all that out there, because I don't know who's following me. Like in my mobile home groups, just like how you have wholesale and single family groups, I'll break down the deal. So I'll say, this was my strategy, this was the seller's pain point, this is the problem that I solved, this is the numbers. But when I post it on Facebook, it's just a win. It's just like, hey, this is my win. So everyone's looking at this highlight reel like, that she made quick money. How can I get into this? And a lot of times I just direct them to Mobile Home Elite Investors page. Like, take the course. They really don't want to learn. Like they don't, I'm like, well, how about you put bandit signs? You do the bandit signs, I do this part. I've even offered, like, I've been trying to put my family on, like, okay, this is what I am doing. If you come across a home, you know, or like, if you are here in Aiken, if you could go talk to the people, be the face, I'll handle everything else. And they're just like, how can I do it another way where I can just get my money? So, and I've tried, like, but my mom and dad have been very helpful. Like if I need them to do something, they would drop what they're doing. And like on my first deal, I paid my dad $2,000. When they cleaned the home for me, I paid them $500 each. Like I make sure, you know, and that's like really my goal. Like this next home I'm wholesaling, I'm gonna make $5,000. I'm gonna buy my dad a 0-turn lawnmower. I said this home that I'm wholesaling now that I close on Tuesday, I'll make $5,000 off of it. But my goal, like my why for this, every deal has a why attached to it. So like my first one was like, I want to take my kids to Great Wolf Lodge and buy season passes to Carowinds, and we can just live very freely this summer. That was my why. That was my go-to when I was crying, putting out bandit signs in the rain. So for this deal, this lady is a headache. When I tell you she is rude, like rude, but I just keep saying, I'm going to buy my dad a 0-turn lawnmower. Just keep going, T. Like, just keep going. But that just helps me. Like, when I get scared, I think about why I'm doing this. Like, why do I need this to happen? So I don't live beyond my means. So, like, yes, I have a 6-figure business, but, like, I have 2 master's degrees, so student loans. I have kids. You know, I have divorce debt, like I have things. So now I'm literally just at a point in my life this year where I'm able to breathe, but I still don't want to spend because I've been broke. Like I've been like low. So I just like try to be very smart with it. Yeah. I couldn't believe it when you asked me, I was like, okay.
But I just want to make sure that it aligns with your business, with what you want to learn about. One thing I want to hear about, and I think everyone should know, just how the world is coming to short sales as expected. So I have a gentleman who is my buddy, his name is Matthew, he's out of Jersey, and he's a short sale negotiator. He will put on the presentation and share with you just the steps to prepare yourself to put a property into short sale. Now, maybe he doesn't like to negotiate on short sales that will be wholesale, but that is something that you can do. You can wholesale and short sale. But I walked through the process with his stuff, and it was like, all right, I can do this. If you create a process around it. Another one is notes. I have a young lady who I've made an amazing relationship with, and she does notes. If you never heard of note investing, take a look at it. Basically, you're setting yourself up to become self-made. You don't have to worry with the roast and all that good stuff. That's like her tagline. I love it. She's like, I do stress-free investing when it comes to actually being a landlord. So if you want to to learn about that or anything else you want to learn about, let me know and I can put my feelers out and bring them in and we can learn these strategies and ultimately become a millionaire and all. So I want to thank you. I'm so appreciate you. Thank you, ladies. So what I'm gonna do now is I want to get some pictures of course. Y'all know how we do. Especially for Brandon, I need that. And thank you guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have any other questions? Any questions? You know, like I was talking to her, you have to move everything, or I don't know. I think I need to go on. I'm not sure what.
So I'm really just trying to find out, learning and trying to find my niche, like what my personality, that's for me, that's what I'm trying to find that space. Far from being shy, person, but I seem to find that spot, you know. I'm definitely not supposed to be I'm so over it. I'm so over it. I mean, I have to say, but I do. I'm so over it. But I'm so over that.
I completely understand. I remember the day I was like, I can't do what I'm talking about. No savings, no nothing. I did it with the kitchen table and walked away.
Did you guys have any questions? Because I don't know if you guys heard her when she closed it out. She's about to take pictures. So, you guys good?
Yes.
Okay.
We good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Thank you.
can they sign off? Okay. Okay. All right, ladies. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Okay. Good luck on everything.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.